I'm Barb Keisman, and today I wanted to tell you a story of mine where I broke my arm, but it led to an inner healing that needed to take place in my life at that time. Romans 8:28 says, God works all things for the good to those who love Him and are called according to His purpose. So this is a scripture you can grab hold of when something unexpectedly, perhaps it even looks bad, happens to you. And that's what happened to me. I had been divorced for about a year, and one of my losses in that divorce was a loss of health insurance. Well, this didn't concern me too much because, well, we never really went to the doctor much. I had home births. We tried to eat healthy, stay healthy, and we did go to the doctors, but it wasn't our first choice, and we had experienced several instant healings. So anyway, I'm on a bike ride. It's a beautiful, beautiful afternoon, and I'm on a bike ride by Lake Michigan, and I come across some old broken down railroad tracks that had a rut. My tire went into that rut and down I went. Well, I put my arm out to stop the fall, and after I crashed, I looked to see if I had hurt myself, and I noticed I had a lump on my wrist. So I knew I hurt myself, but it didn't hurt. But anyway, I went to a chiropractor first to see if he could just pull it out, and he said he wasn't going to touch it without an x-ray. So I went to a doctor's office that I knew had an x-ray machine, and he took an x-ray of it. By that time, my daughter had joined me, and we were sitting and talking, and I thought, Carla, I'm going to go ask them how long it's going to take before we see those results. And I went up to the nurse's station, and they stopped talking and looked at me and said, we were just talking about you. You have the worst break I've ever seen. We've seen your x-rays, and you're laughing. I go, well, it doesn't really hurt. But right then I knew God's grace was with me. Well, anyway, they sent me to a surgeon, and he said, yes, you have to have surgery. And I said, can I pray about it? I need a weekend to pray about it. I said, it's not that I'm against doctors or anything like that, but I need to know God's will, because either way it's going to take a miracle. Either He heals me supernaturally or He provides the finances, because I didn't have any money at that time. And so he says, yeah, you can have the weekend, but you're still going to need surgery. No faith. So anyway, I went home and I started praying about it. And to hear from God, I turned on a Christian TV station thinking maybe one of the speakers would say something. And sure enough, there was a woman speaking. And I'm not sure what she was talking about, but while she was talking, she put her hand up like this and she grabbed her wrist and she goes, what you're going through is to cause you to cling to God. The wrist she was grabbing was the very wrist that I had broken, and I knew I had heard from God. So He wanted me to trust Him more, and this situation was to cause that to happen. But anyway, so after praying about it, I knew I was supposed to have surgery, and so I called the hospital, and they said, this is going to cost $25,000, and we won't even do it without $12,000. Well, that wasn't an option. I didn't have $12,000. But the doctor, the surgeon, had told me that there was an outpatient version that was cheaper. And so I tried to call him, and I called 2 or 3 times, couldn't get any phone calls back from them. And I was sitting in my bed, I was very discouraged. I was very depressed and discouraged because it's been about 3 or 4 days now since I had broke my arm, and I was afraid it was going to knit back the wrong way. And I was sitting there just depressed, and I was given a divine imagination. That's what I'm going to call it. And in this imagination, my very large family came to my rescue. It was like liquid love just came down as I was so grateful for their help. And then it happened. My sister called me that afternoon, and I go, Mary, I don't know how to deal with doctors. I have no experience. I can't get them to return my phone call. And she goes, Barb, I'll take care of it. And she did. 4 hours later, she calls me and she goes, your surgery's been scheduled for Thursday and it's been paid for by your family, and you are not to think about paying it back. And the way she said it, I knew that that's how it was going to happen. And a week later, my dad sent me a check for $5,000 to help me live off of because I couldn't work. And you know, I was so grateful. But here's what happened. You know, after my divorce, I felt abandoned. You know, you feel those things, rejection, abandonment, alone. And now I didn't feel so alone. Now I didn't feel so abandoned because my family had run to my help. And this helped me start a healing process I needed to start after my divorce, which helped me to go forward in my life. I don't know what's happened to you, something you think is bad, but watch to see what good God can bring out of it, because He is working on your behalf. And as Romans 8:28 says, that He works all things out for your good to those who love Him and are called according to His purpose. Anyway, I'm Barb Keisman, and you've been listening to Dare to Dream Once More.